What's up, everyone? Corey back again with another review for Xbox Tavern. This time I'm taking a look at a brand new game called Evil Wizard. This is a action RPG game that has Metroidvania elements, and if you have listened to some of my reviews, you know I like Metroidvania, so I was immediately pulled in by that buzzword. And it's true. This is a game where you are playing the villain. The good guy story has already happened, and you are playing the villain after the fact. And you need to take back your castle that the good guys took from you. So you are going to be navigating your castle, earning your powers, and having to go back and backtrack to get places and do things like that. Your powers are going to help you traverse the castle, so it's not exactly linear, but there are going to be places where you're going to be blocked and you're going to have to go back eventually once you have the right power to do that. Speaking of the powers, these are all elemental based powers. So you're going to get a fire spell, an ice spell, there's earth and electricity, and like a void spell is what they call it. And you're going to be using these to not only defeat enemies who may or may not be weak to the current spell you have equipped, but it's also going to help you, again, traverse the castle. Example, you can't swim. You come across a puddle or a pond, you have the ice power, freeze that thing, and walk right over it. Just as a small taste of how you can use those powers in the game other than the combat. Speaking of the combat, that is one of the main parts about this. You're going to be running into enemies frequently, all the time. You're going to be stuck into a certain room, and you're going to have to defeat all the enemies within it before it will allow you to continue at times. And sometimes they're just going to be random enemies in the hallway. Alongside that, there are also bosses. Well, it's a game without bosses, right? And this game is not short on those at all. There are a ton of bosses scattered throughout this castle, some optional, some required in order to progress the story forward. Now, what I like and don't like about this game is the difficulty. It can be brutally hard, and the save points are kind of spread out. So if you die, you have to go back, or if you're into a long boss battle, you die, you're going to have to redo the whole thing again. There's not like checkpoints in between the boss battle, which is fine. Bosses can be hard, but this game will test your patience. Now, before you turn off this review, if that turns you away, there is accessibility options. You can turn down the time it takes for an enemy or a boss to attack, so you have a little bit more of a window to attack them. You can also turn down the damage they do to you and things like that. So really good with the accessibility sliders. You seem like you have a lot of options. It's not like a end-all be-all hard, or it's either hard or easy. You can kind of fine-tune it that fits you to make the game fun for you, however that may be. Now, the one thing that gets me in this game, probably over every single thing in this game, is the humor. This is a very funny, breaking the fourth wall game. You're going to be talked to as the player quite often. It's kind of a driving point of the story in a way, and it's very Deadpool-like. So it is mature. There are mature things that they say, and they a lot of innuendos and things like that. Very funny for me, an adult, but obviously not as great for kids. That said, if Deadpool is your thing, this is going to be right up that alley. I wanted to talk to everybody and read their little blurbs, no matter what it was, because you know if some funny quip was about to happen. What's a game without collectibles? Well, this game has a lot of collectibles as well. You're going to be collecting rubber ducks, and each rubber duck is a punny name on something else, maybe Iron Duck as one example. And so this game is not short on rewarding exploration or fighting enemies unnecessarily. So doing all of these things, you'll be able to turn in little side quests. You'll get a currency that will allow you to upgrade your powers. So there are it's a small upgrade tree. You're not locked to one type of combat style or anything like that. You're going to be able to upgrade everything, but just being able to upgrade is something worthwhile. Normally, I would kind of get overwhelmed having to know that I have to pick certain things to upgrade, or especially with elements in video games. Once it gets a lot and you start mixing and matching elements to enemy types and things like that, it can be overwhelming, like it is for me. This game, I think, has a really nice balance. There's only 5, I believe, and it kind of works in a rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock kind of deal. One thing always beats another thing. But the thing is, you don't have to use that ability on an enemy of the opposite type. Example, you don't have to use fire on an ice enemy. Will it help you and defeat them quicker? Yes. Is it necessary? No. It's just going to take a little bit longer. So if you are good with dodging and things like that, no problem. Play whatever elements that float your boat. Sometimes you're going to have to be required. That's more for progressing through areas. But when it comes to combat, you are in control of how that happens. And I don't think you're going to be super penalized for doing it your way. Other than that, this game is it's a beautiful pixel art game. I love all the art style about it. The music fits the style. The voice acting, there's not a lot of it. I wish there was more. The bits you get are really good. And again, not a lot, but I really enjoyed what they had. So not a lot to say about this game in a negative way. Evil Wizard is really funny, mature action RPG that just rewards you for playing the game in a variety of fashions. So if this looks good to you, this sounds good to you, this backtracking Metroidvania style without the platforming is something that intrigues you, I definitely recommend Evil Wizard. It's out now for Xbox. Be sure to check out xboxtavern.com, where I'll have a final score for the game, as well as all of our other reviews that you should check out as well. But that will do it for me for this review for Evil Wizard. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.